Hello, everyone. We're back at it again. Yay! It's been a hot minute. It's sort of been a hot minute. Hold on, let me pull my chair down. Whee! Yay! It got shorter. Um, I don't know what number this is. Is it 8, 7? I don't know. I'm drunk. Okay. What a great way to start this video. Good morning. It's not good morning. What time is it? I don't even know what time it is. It's actually nighttime. I do know what time it is. This. I think. If I'm going to title the video what I was planning on titling it because I was thinking of a topic before I joined. This is gonna seem really really weird because I started this video when like I'm drunk, but you know what? And it doesn't matter because I want to talk about it. Topic today's topic today's topic is uh loss and grief. This is not a great topic, it looks like, to be drunk on, but I promise it got better. But no, I wasn't thinking too well when I was thinking about that. um but it's been a rough week for sure. I think I mentioned in my last video that I was gonna be gone for like a week, and so I had to upload in a pretty short window of time. And I wanted to make a video once I got back from Hold on, let me check something real quick. Yeah, from when I got back from my vacation. But literally the day I came back, I landed at like 4 a.m. And then at 5 a.m. I was driving my cat to the emergency room. Yay! It was not yay. It was actually very, 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 very stressful, and I was crying on and off all week about it. But the good news. Well, there's some good news. There's some bad news. Um, Man, I love my cat. I have two cats. We got a gray one. I can't make a peace sign, but I got you. Ignore the third one. I got two cats. And my older one, she's gray, and my younger one, he's orange. My older one's 9 years old, and my orange one's almost 2 now. He's a little baby. He's a little guy. I love that guy. Love that little man. But my older one was breathing kind of funny, and so I had to take her to the vet. It was weird. I was like, no, maybe, maybe something, like maybe she didn't like something in the air because I tried like a new diffuser, but I did check that it was cat safe. But maybe she just didn't like the smell, or I was wondering like, oh, is she just mad because I was gone for a while? Because she can get a little bit like iffy whenever I go on vacation. She knows. I'm pretty sure she knows because whenever I do, like right before I go on vacation, she always like sits on my suitcase and she like won't move. But um yeah, I took her to the ER at 5 a.m. And then I was there for like 7 freaking hours. It sucks. It's so much stress. But they told me she had heart failure, and you can imagine how terrible I felt. Or you probably, some people probably can't. Apparently, heart failure is common in cats, and it's also like very hard to detect. I take my cat to the vet every year, and for her regular checkup, and nobody's caught it. None of the vets caught it, and they were telling me that they don't usually catch things like that because cats are just very good at hiding, and so. That was terrible. I cried. I cried in the emergency room in front of other people, and it was embarrassing because I was like, "Man, my cat's gonna die." And yeah, it was also a lot of money, but who cares about money? I need my cat to live. When the doctor brought me in, and she was like, "Yeah, it's only a matter of time." And I was like, "Oh my god, what do you mean it's only a matter of time?" And they were like, "There's no cure, so they can live few weeks, few months. It really depends on the cat." And so that feels terrible. And she's like, do you want to remove the fluid around her heart and her lungs?" Like, bro, it's terrifying. I just got home from vacation. I was just on a freaking 14-hour flight, and then my cat's dying. That's scary, you know? Oh, my nose is itchy. Ugh. I, what was I saying? Yeah, it's scary. It's terrifying. I never wish that on my greatest enemies. I do wish that they get a paper cut on their tongue. Or, I hope that the next time they get a cup, they get like a coffee cup, the lid is not on properly. So it falls. And then they have to like fiddle with it. Anyway, where was I going with this? Me and alcohol make me. I probably shouldn't be recording something while I'm a little tippy. But it's the end of the week. It's Friday. It's like Friday. Well, it's like Saturday, like 1 a.m. or something like that. I don't even know what time it is anymore. Turns out it's 2:33 a.m. What was I saying? You could tell where my brain is. I was very sad about my cat though, because, they're like, she's got heart failure. We have to get her to a cardiologist. And I sit there and she was like, so what do you want to do? It's like, what do you mean? What do I want to do? You just told me my cat doesn't have that much long to live. And she's like, yeah. And so, I did what every owner would do, and I was like, we're gonna drain that blood out, the fluid out of her lungs, because I wasn't ready to say goodbye. I just got home. I was, and then I felt like shit because, like, it's like, damn, like, did I just save my cat because of my own selfishness? Am I thinking about how she's trying to live? Because, like, I don't want her to struggle. But, I think she was trying to live. I mean, like, the doctor said that she was really putting in the effort to breathe, so either way, I did a good thing. It was terrible. I cried about it all week. I was so like I like freaked out so hard. I went to work 2 days and I had to leave early 2 days because I had to freaking medicate my cat at 4 p.m. And then at 8 a.m. because it was a 4 hour. I mean, no, it was an 8 hour. I had to feed her the medication every 8 hours, and oh my god, trying to feed medication to a cat. Oh god, that shit sucks. Um, yeah, I was not ready. I like, oh my god, it was terrible, dude. Oh yeah. I mean, it is just a matter of time before she passes, and I did say there was some good news, but I only got that news earlier this morning. It was not from the doctor. I actually don't know what the situation on my cat is because I have a cardiologist appointment for her, but it's still like several weeks out. So it kind of sucks that I have to wait for that. But I had a friend. I was talking to some friends because, I was like, damn, guys, my cat's dying. I'm so sad. I don't know what to do. And one of them was telling me how their cat went through something that was like almost identical. Did I mention heart failure is common in cats? Apparently, it's quite common in cats. But, yeah, apparently they had a cat that went through the same thing, got prescribed the same medications, and was told that they had heart failure. But apparently heart failure can be manageable with the right medication if it's not too bad. And I think I'd like to imagine that we caught it kind of early-ish. She's been eating well. She's been pretty energetic, and she seems like her normal self. So I'm really hoping that this is something that's manageable because, holy crap, I was crying because I was like, I thought I had another 5 to 10 years with you because she's like 9 years old. I just wasn't ready to say goodbye. And like, it only really hit me now. I've had a pet like pass away before, and that was extremely hard on me. But like, I like couldn't sleep. I physically got ill. Like, I woke up at 10 a.m. one of those days. I usually go to work at like 8, and I like was just running a fever, and I had to call out, and I felt terrible calling out because like, I know it's like I have to take care of my health, but it's like, man, like I wanna work hard too. But then every day I went to work, I just thought about my cat anyway, and like, it was not great. But that's where I am. That's why my upload is a little slow because I didn't want to cry on camera. But I mean, you guys wouldn't even see me crying on camera because I'm a freaking anime girl actor right now. Um, And well, actually, I think I have a toggle here. I think I said something for that. Let me I don't remember. But the point being, I don't know if I have a toggle for it actually. Point being. What was the point? Point being. Oh, I didn't. I didn't have the energy to record something. I was thinking about it all week though. I was really excited to record something on my way back. I wanted to talk about my trip, but like honestly, this week has been so. Uh, I haven't really been able to. And like there's that whole me trying to. It kind of looks like something in my eye. Uh, I don't know. Okay, but yeah. I was thinking about that all week. It was very tough. This is just like a rant vlog. Anyway, I talked about, what was it? You know, grieving. Oh man, there's so many things to grieve about. Oh my god, I sound so bad. I'm not that depressed, I promise. Ugh. I just have a lot of thoughts in my head. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's I want to explode every time I think about it, but it's more like, you know, um something kind of weird is I think a lot about how I think I've talked about this in previous videos before. I feel like, it's like the idea of like being a successful person in a world where it feels like my friends are. I feel like I've had a very weird upbringing, kind of rough upbringing. I feel like compared to a lot of people I grew up with, they may have not worked as hard, or I may not had as much drive. I feel like I grew up with a lot of very smart, very capable, very 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 nice people that I looked up to a lot. And becoming an adult and somehow being the person to have like survived and got an education and got a job. It's like I'm not trying to flex anything. It's just it's sad. I don't want to be like I'm the victim. I'm not a victim. I'm not really a victim of anything. Like, if anything, it's, the people I grew up with, I feel like they deserved a better opportunities than I have. I really feel like I did get lucky because I really am not that smart. I don't really think I'm that driven either. I I feel like I don't know if I even enjoy the work that I do. People are always like, "Oh, you have to find enjoyment in what you do." But for me, it's always been a matter of like I want to do well so I could stand with the people that I love and care about. Because I always anticipated my friends to go farther beyond than me, and I don't know if that's a self-deprecation. I just feel like when I look at these people and see what they're doing, it's like they had so many ideas, so many passions, so many things that they wanted to do, and me, all I wanted to do was engage in escapism. And I had, I effectively grew up on the internet. I'm one of those poor children who freaking was exposed to the internet really early in like 2008 when I was, I mean, well, that's not really early, but like, sorry, I say 2008 because that, like, back then the internet wasn't really like utilized as much then. Like, it wasn't, people didn't really have social media that much. It was like when it was starting to become popular, and then like there was all the like wild wild west stuff on the internet. Like the internet's, I think anybody who used to use the internet like in the 2000s, even early 2010s, can kind of attest to the fact that the internet has become a lot more of a safer place. Like, you don't see like gore videos anymore, which is a good thing. I think that's a good thing. I'm pretty sure if you're really looking for them, you could find them. But like, I remember growing up, like watching gore videos is like, you would just like scroll some random like internet page and you'd be like, oh my god, that's terrible, and then you would like see some terrible video of some like execution or something, and it'd be like, oh my god, like damn. Well, when you're a kid, you don't really think about it because you're like, whoa, that happened. At least I know I'm human because I like recently saw something like that pop up somewhere and I felt mortified. So at least I know I have some sort of feeling here that makes me go like, damn, that's terrible, because I was low key kind of afraid about the fact that I was on the internet and at such a young age that I might have been desensitized to shit like that. But I'm not, turns out. Yay! Um yeah. Which also brings me to the whole point of like, damn, like a lot of people I grew up with are, it feels like they're in a much worse state than me, like mentally and stuff like that. Because like, things get bad for me, but I always bounce back. I always bounce back. I don't know how I bounce back, but I've always had tenacity of a honey badger. So, sometimes you get destroyed by life. But that's when you gotta get up and you gotta do it again, like even if it sucks, it's like the most that I can do. And that's sort of why I've made it this far. But like I'm the like dumb idiot who made it this far because all I did was hit my head on the wall until the wall broke, And there's a lot of people who are like deconstruct a wall and do more things to it. It's like a lot more efficient, a lot more elegant, and I'm just sort of like, let me in, and eventually it'll let you in, and like bloody knuckles and all. You know what I mean? Ah, I feel, I feel a weird sense of survivor's guilt. Maybe that's not the right term, but it's this like sort of. I feel like I shouldn't have gotten as far as I did when people who I feel like have worked harder, put in more effort, have more talented than me. I feel like those people should have been where I am or more. But instead, those people that I wanted to, that I worked hard to stand next to are the ones who feel envious towards me. And I sort of feel sad about that. At the end of the day, it's like I love my friends and I want the best for them, but you can't really stop people from feeling envious towards you. I'm not saying that to belittle anyone, but I've had friends who, like I will meet up again and it'll be like, "Oh my god, you're so lucky that you got this." Like, "Oh my god, like you're in such a better position than I am." And it's like, yeah, I suppose I am, but it doesn't really matter if I'm doing it alone, you know? I don't know if grief is the right word here, but there is certainly something that doesn't feel right in my heart. Um, I wanted to end this on a positive note. Um, I still I'm gonna keep checking, I'm not gonna give up. I can't give up. And I certainly won't give up on my friends, something I get a lot, so like from family members and stuff like that, is like when I'm like, oh, I feel like my friends feel a certain way towards me because of the way things panned out, and they'd be like, oh, like you don't need people who drag you down. And I would agree to a sense, right? Like I don't think it's ever gonna be healthy for me to have people who you know, want to berate me because I have achieved something that they had not and that they wish they'd achieved. Um, oh god, I feel like I sound really condescending, but that's really not what I mean. I feel like, having graduated, like picking a major, sticking to it, graduating, and getting a job, like having that, like sort of like American dream formula. I think people can get, a little envious of that, and that's okay. I understand why. Like, we're all working really hard, and sometimes it feels unfair that, one person might get farther than the other. And I don't think it's fair. It's it's sad, but I still want to root for those friends, even if they might make some comments towards me. I still want to root for the people who you know, who got me to where I am. And that's sort of how I feel about my cat too. It's kind of silly. It's kind of silly. It's kind of silly. But like when I got my cat, the first one, older one, the gray one, made a deal with my mom that I would work super hard in school to keep the cat, and so I did. Um, and it's like as I got to college, I worked hard, and then when I finally, moved out of my mom's house, I didn't really move out of my family's because I just moved from my mom's house to my aunt's basement, and I took the cat with me because I worked hard for her. But I didn't, she likes sunbathing, and I didn't want her to stay in the musty basement for the rest of her life. And part of the reason why I moved was of some a state over. It's because I wanted to get a window apartment that my cat could look outside and she could sunbathe it. And even now, like she's 9, and in my head she has another 5 to 10 years. Though it's probably a lot shorter now. But I always wanted to make sure that she would be able to go to a place with a lot of sunlight, a lot of yummy food and everything. And in some ways I really it's a little embarrassing, but I do not think it's an understatement to say that one of my motivators for having a job to begin with is because I want to take care of my cats, and I want to make sure that they have a good quality of life, and I want to make sure that they can live a happy life because I feel responsible for them. And so it hurt me a lot when I thought that I didn't have much time with my cat, and I don't know how much time I have with her. All I can really hope for at this point, at the bare minimum, is just I just want a few more good months with her, and I'm gonna give her a lot of yummy food, and I'm gonna make as much memories with her as I can. Maybe I'll get a photographer to take some silly pictures of us. I wanted to make an album. I wanna keep as many things as I can because you lose things, but those things are what make you you. And I think it's good to treasure those kinds of feelings. I think it's good to treasure people, even if they might not be the best person towards you. There's a lot of people that are special to me in my heart that I might not be as much of a big deal to them. But I think it's important. It's important to have special people to you. And there's a lot of people in the world that are lonely. Um, even me sometimes, even though it seems like I have a lot of friends, and a lot of people say that they find me intimidating. A lot of times, though, I get lonely. I just want to have people by my side. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah! Okay, that feels good. I feel great after just yapping about stuff. Um, Thank you for coming to one of these videos again. Next time I will be sober, and maybe next time I'll be a little more coherent. I hope you have a good night. Boink, boink, boink.